Well, here I am up early again, out and about in the woods, but a completely different set of woods this time. This is Buckley Hill in Cheshire, part of the Sandstone Trail, and it's very early in the morning, typically for me, and there's not a great deal of light, but that's okay, because I didn't expect it, and I'm going to be shooting within the trees, hopefully getting a bit of that lovely summer foliage coming through, and just to see what else is out here. Now there is actually a bit of early morning sun poking through the trees, which is nice. I don't expect it to last for too long though. Forecast's got it clouding over, but beautiful when it shines through those trees and catches the foliage first thing in the morning with that golden light. Well, I had a bit of a mad dash to set the camera up because the sunrise was actually looking quite nice, but literally by the time I got it focused with my standard lens and got a film holder in there and did all the adjustments, it was starting to get a little bit bright, so I got one frame at 1/4 of a second at f/22, and all of a sudden then the sun just came straight in and it's absolutely dazzling now, so I didn't get a chance for a second frame. I don't hold that much hope for that first one because it was a bit bright, but you never know. Well, the light's starting to look good where I was earlier. Oops. Looking out over a feature called Name Rock. It's called Name Rock because everyone carves the name in the sandstone. Lovely outlook. Not usually as dramatic as it is today, but the sun has come up unexpectedly and it's casting some lovely long shadows across the countryside. So I'm going to nip back, about a 5-minute walk, and hopefully get a shot. Well, I'm all set up now on the edge of Name Rock, overlooking the plains behind me, the Cheshire Plains, and I have my camera set with a standard 150mm Nikkor f/22 and a bit of Kodak Ektar film. Now I was going to start shooting straight away, but I have noticed that the light is starting to creep across the rocks in front of me. Now I've got those in the frame, and I also go right across to the horizon you can see behind me. Now normally this will be a very difficult shot to get everything in focus, but one thing about large format, we do have movements on every lens. I'm able to adjust the film plane, so not a problem. Well, I've taken 2 shots of that scene, one with Ektar, one with FP4, so I've got a bit of a choice, black and white or colour. Both shot at f/22. I shot the black and white image with a yellow filter, just to lighten the greens in the scene. And as I was talking away on the last clip, a woman walked past with a dog and I felt like a total prat. So maybe I'll find somewhere a bit quieter, because at 6 o'clock in the morning it's a bit odd, stood on a rocky ledge talking to yourself, nobody else around. unlike most woodland I shoot in, particularly Delamere Forest, Buckley Hill is proper woodland. This is maintained by the National Trust, and it's supposed to resemble what woods looked like, 1,000 years ago. There ain't many of them left now in Britain, and it's fabulous in autumn because you haven't just got that overbearing preponderance of pine trees, you've got some real trees. Now, I spotted a particularly dramatic looking tree on the way up earlier, but it was a bit dark, so I've come back to it. I think you'll agree that's dramatic, and I'm going to shoot it now. I think I'll use black and white and may take a frame of colour. I like the fact there's no direct light on it, it's much more atmospheric. I haven't got the harsh highlights to deal with, but this really looks very, very nice. Well, with the rapidly improving weather and the beautiful blue skies I'm getting now, I've decided to come about 2 miles back down the road towards Peckforton. There's a nice little walk to a set of woods called Willis's Wood, but then again they chopped it down about 5 years ago, so there's less wood now, but there are some nice little views in there. So I parked up by the gatehouse at Peckforton Castle. This isn't a real castle, this is one of those 19th century follies. Very nice though, wedding receptions held here. But I'm going to walk over towards the fields now and the real castle view, which is Beeston Castle. Well, I think I've got a pretty strong composition now. I've set up with my longest lens, which is a 300mm Nikkor, and I've actually pointed it straight at the castle, but tilted it down so I can get depth of field across the corn in front of me. Sorry, the wheat in front of me. Now this means I have to use f32 as well to get depth of field, and hopefully, fingers crossed, everything is sharp. Use two films, Ektar and Portra. Ektar at an 1/8 of a second and Portra at a 30th. Using the faster Portra film, hopefully to freeze any motion in that corn and hopefully to stop any movement within the camera itself. Now, whilst on my way back to the car, I've noticed that the gatehouse at Peckforton Castle is looking particularly nice today. The reason being, I've got some lead-in lines made by a tractor in that wheat field. So if I break out my longer lens again, I might be able to isolate that and make quite a strong composition. So I've got my 300mm Nikkor lens on again, set to f22. A little bit of front tilt this time, polarizer again to really saturate those skies and pump up those colours, and an 1/8 of a second and a 30th of a second, Ektar and Portra 400. I'm really hopeful of this one. I may crop it though, I'm not sure about the portrait format. I may go for a square, but absolutely lovely. I mean, just look at the scene behind me on a summer's morning at 8:30. Couldn't ask for more. that's me about done for the morning. Just make sure I've not lost anything left behind, like a cable release like last time. Yeah, so that's me done for the morning, and quite a good morning it was too. Quite a few shots there, some colour, a couple of black and whites, all in all very pleased. So I'm going to get them back now, develop them. I actually developed them myself. Black and white I do in a Patterson orbital, which was designed in the 1980s for developing colour prints, but it's absolutely ideal for developing large format film, especially black and white. And for colour, I use a Jobo CPE2 processor with a 2509 drum. Takes up to 6 sheets in one go. My chemistry therefore works out, blimey, better get off quick, works out quite cheap. Yeah, I'm off home, so see you on the next trip.